Welcome back, or welcome. Why would I expect that you've been here before? We're making kale chips today with kale from our garden. This was actually full. I'm like in the middle of making a couple rounds right now, but this has been washed and shredded, just cut and ripped into like little pieces. This is a really easy recipe. We make it all the time, and quite frankly, it's like probably the best way to consume a lot of kale. And also it tastes so good. My toddler's 2 and 3 years old right now, and they literally devour it. Like if a 2 and 3 year old are devouring it the way they would chocolate chips, you are doing something right. Okay, so, and don't judge me, I'm using this glove, not because my hands aren't clean, and they are, but when you cook all the time, you wash your hands all the time, you get some cuts because your hands are a little dry, and I do not need any salt getting into my hands right now because that'll burn. So I just take some avocado oil, you know, a good drizzle. And again, I said that this was already washed. Your kale should be washed and then ripped into pieces, and take out that big stem piece because that's not so fun to have. And then I just eyeball decent amount of nutritional yeast. It depends, you know, how much you're making. And then I just add a little bit of seasoned salt, and that's it. Then I massage it around, because when you massage your kale, it actually makes it easier for your body to digest, and it makes it taste better. Can make it less bitter if you ever have any bitter kale. It's just much better in many different ways. If you just give if you give your kale a little massage. I'm saying kale and massage at the same time. Give your kale a massage. Oh man. Okay, so once you do that, and this is how mine ends up looking. Like I have these little pieces, but basically where it's just coated, it has everything kind of on it, but not like a lot, you know, just a nice amount. And then this is the more tedious process, which is like laying it out super evenly. And I do that because sometimes I've just thrown it down in the past and it doesn't cook as well, because some will be like burnt on the side. I literally lay every single piece out. I'll show you. And I said I had some going, so that's why I'm reusing parchment again. We'll start with these two. Woo! Almost went on the floor. We'll start with these two and see if we need more. So, like I said, I literally just lay them out individually, make sure they have some space, because that really helps your kale cook evenly. And when you have kale cooked evenly, I think I always do this and the drain is going. Wow. Every time I film, the drain is going. Now it's quiet because we're always doing dishes, man. Holy cow. Babe, what am I talking about? I don't remember. Something about kale. I don't know. Oh, maybe spreading it out evenly. When you spread it out evenly, it cooks just really evenly, which is not always the case with kale. And so once everything is laid out, I bake it in the oven at 325 degrees for 15 minutes. I was gonna say about, but no, I do 15 minutes every time at 325, because kale chips specifically, I feel like are prone to burn easily. There's like a fine line between like perfectly done and overdone. And when they're overdone, it's just like such a bummer that you spent all that time. So anyways, if you make them at like 350, I've found if they're higher than 325 in the oven, that they're more likely to burn. So 325 for 15 minutes is exactly what I do every single time. And they come out beautifully. I have a couple rounds already done. So once we get these in, I will show you what they look like finished. And also, you know, this recipe, you can switch it up. Like, it's not really like any kind of set recipe. Most of mine aren't, or most of my go-tos. Like, you can, you know, just switch it up to your liking. I always use avocado oil. You can use olive oil, especially because you're not heating this in the oven to like a high temperature that you can't like have olive oil. And so you can use olive oil if you want. You can use we just usually go to avocado, but we do sometimes use olive instead of nutritional yeast. You know, if you're not plant-based, I would encourage trying it. But if you aren't and you don't want to try it, you know, you could always do like a cheesy powder. And, you know, as much salt, or like if you want to do like a garlic onion one, you know, use a little garlic or onion powder. I've never done an everything bagel seasoning, but you could do that. I mean, you can make kale chips whatever flavor you want. Whatever flavor you want. Just like life, right? Do it your way. Do it your way. Maybelline. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the trays. I have 3 trays because I layer it all in my oven. And we've already done, this is our 3rd round. Yep, we are Kale House. These are gonna go in for 15 minutes, 325. We have a bunch of them laid out. Oh man, that's pretty close together, but that's gonna work. There we go. So this is what 2 rounds of kale chips looks like when they're done. So good. Show you how crunchy they are. I think I just put my arm in water. Where's the water? Where'd that come from? All right. Crunchy. It's that little straggler. Wow. Not the like most beautiful one to show. Hear that? God, they're so good. You hear who's over here? The dog. She's obsessed with kale. I never know where the thing is on this. Oh my gosh. They're so good. I'm actually gonna have to set these aside. For the boys. You probably will get some. You will get kale in your teeth. What an honor it is. What an honor it is. Cheers. We have kale chips, last round, in the oven. Now we're going to start a sourdough blackberry cobbler, which is just one of my favorite recipes. This is from my cookbook. Last page of my cookbook, sourdough cobbler. It's so easy to make, so delicious. Put that right there. I should actually just like go like this so you can screenshot if you need. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do, I'm like, is this even what the book says? I'm gonna just do it how I do it. You guys can follow me or you can follow the book. So we're gonna take 1 stick. This is of our homemade plant-based butter, vegan butter. I make this in one of the other videos, so you can always go find that if you want to make some homemade butter. So the first thing we're going to do is melt this so we can pour it into our pan. So I'm going to melt this and we'll be right back. First thing we're going to do with our melted butter is pour it into your dish. Oh my gosh, loud. I don't know if this is, I think this is probably like 8 by 8. That's what it seems like. So this is 1 stick of butter, and this is for a cobbler. This is, again, sourdough cobbler, which makes it just a little special. It has all those, you know, gut-friendly benefits and properties that you would get from sourdough bread. This uses sourdough discard, which is, I still need to do my lingo, my sourdough lingo video, which I'm gonna do, but sourdough discard is basically using what was formerly sourdough starter that you use to make bread. It's just laying dormant in the fridge, but you can use it in recipes and still get the same benefits that you get from sourdough. So we're gonna start with 1 stick of butter melted. Then you're gonna take 2 cups of whatever fruit you wanna use. These are blackberries that my husband and my kids picked right around our house. So we're gonna just dump those in, kind of lay them out evenly as you can. So 2 cups over the 1 stick of melted butter, 2 cups of fruit. I'm doing so many things now. I'm getting pizza, sourdough pizza in the oven. Okay, so you have your 1 cup of butter melted, pour that in, 2 cups of fruit. Sometimes we do honeyberries. We've been doing blackberry a lot because we have so many that we pick around our house. You could do peach, do a peach cobbler, yum. Okay, we got that. And so now we're going to mix together what we're gonna end up pouring on top. So we're gonna start with, I do 1 cup of soy milk. And again, if you're not plant-based or, you know, prefer to use a different kind of milk, you can always do that. So here's our 1 cup of soy milk. Here's the 1 cup of sourdough discard. Nice and thick, and I love that this recipe uses a good amount of discard. You know, you're getting some good stuff in there. And of course, because you are using sourdough in some way, it also helps it like just be a little bit lighter, fluffier, all the things. Okay, so 1 cup of sourdough discard, 1 cup of milk. We use soy. There we go, kind of give that a little mix. And then 1 cup, it's a lot, but of cane sugar. That's what I use. Again, you can probably just use any sugar. I'm sure the recipe doesn't change too much. There we go, give that a little mix. 1/2 cup I use of organic all-purpose flour. Drop that on in, and then I do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Mix that all together, and it's really that simple. Once that's like nicely mixed, and of course you can use a whisk, you can use whatever you want. Once it's nice and evenly mixed, pour it right on top. Cook it at 350, how long does my recipe say? For 45 minutes or until cooked through. So of course you can check because some ovens are different, but then I let it cool. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely to cut into. Lovelier to eat. This is a good recipe, if I don't say so myself. Okay. Wow, so fluffy. It's just like, if you could like spin this, like do this yourself, it's just light and airy and fluffy. So beautiful. Okay, so we're just gonna pour it right on top of the fruit here. Beautiful. Ooh, it's gonna slip right out of my hands. Gotta get all that goodness. And again, 350 degrees in the oven for about 45 minutes. And that's it, cobbler, baby. Cobbler, baby. This is what the kale chips look like when they're done on the pan, on the tray. You can see how like they all have their own little space and they get dried up and like perfectly crispy crunch. Just perfect little kale chips. So, so good. And then over here, we have our cobbler, which is gonna go in next. Sourdough cobbler, look at those bubbles. Look at those bubbles, gorgeous. Those blackberries, look at that little one poking out. Gonna put that in when the sourdough pizza's done. Making so many things. And then when I'm done with the kale chips, I take the parchment and just go like this. Dump it into the bowl so they all just come off. Perfect. And I eat the stragglers. It's done. You just pulled it out. I just pushed this in, but let's just do another one. Perfect. Look at that. Look at the little bubbles. Ooh, baby. I'm trying to film this one-handed, so let's see how good I can do. Ooh, yeah, baby. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna try to turn this. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that in there. Oh, that's gonna be so good. Ooh, baby sourdough cobbler.